at Keeping It Real Sports wish you a happy new year. And while we may not have a show for you this week, sit back, relax, and enjoy the best of Keeping It Real Sports of 2022, featuring the voice of the Cavaliers, Tim Alcorn, and some of our lighter moments throughout the year. Happy New Year!
With Prince Bell, we rocking with Keeping It Real Sports, and we gonna be on this. We gonna be on a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in. It's the new wave. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Hey, Taylor Rapp here from the LA Rams. Shout out to Steve Taylor, the real sports guy, and the honorary Ram. When Steve talks sports, you better listen. Thanks, Steve from the Rams, for your continued support and love. Go Rams.
Come on, come on. I told you I got you. Wanna talk about his game, he can talk about it. Tennis, match, golf, he can talk about it. Don't matter what it is, he can talk about it. Any sport dude, he know about it. Safety boy bum, don't doubt it. If he tell you that it is what it is. The real sports guy in the Sandman. Talk show game in the bag, man. Rep, don't have to throw the flag, man. Steve Taylor, Andy Sands. It's over, OVA. Game over, they don't play. From the fourth quarter to the ninth inning. NASCAR wheels keep spinning. To the 18th hole, he's still in control. Guy on the go. Coach never missing the play, cause he know the deal. This keeping it real. Sports. Come on. Keeping it real. Yeah. Let's go.
Saturday morning, man, another Keep It Real Sports podcast. How's everybody doing? I'm the Real Sports guy, Steve Taylor. He is the Sandman, Andy Sands out of Sandman. We've got a huge show, man. We can tell the people what we got going on today.
Hey, man, I cannot wait, and we're moments away from bringing in the radio voice of the Cavs and my good friend Tim Alcorn. I'm so excited to have Tim, Steve. We're going to have to watch the clock because this could get long.
Oh, my gosh. We absolutely do. But we do. In addition to Tim Alcorn, of course, we're going to give you our college top 10, the real top 10, because, hey, look, the committee met, and there's some major changes going on in the poll this week, Andy.
Yes, major changes for sure. We almost put Ohio State number one.
It was close.
Not just yet. We got to see what they can do on the road, and they're going to try that later afternoon today.
You know, once again, NFL storylines, we're going to give you that. We're going to give you our pick six and who you got. And, of course, we would be remiss if we didn't give you that dude of the week. Let's get to it. Hot off the press.
There he is. Welcome, Tim. Good morning, sir.
Yes, this face for radio, doing a video podcast and a stream. But no, it is great to be with you guys. And Andy, great seeing you again. I'm sure we'll talk about our history. You and I go a long way back. Steve, great to be with you. And let's have some fun talking some Cavs basketball, because we certainly are looking forward to a fun season with this Cavalier team.
You know, Tim or Steve always gets on me about being a homer sometimes, right? Okay, well guess what? I'm allowed to be a homer this week, all right? My friend is the radio announcer of one of my favorite sports teams. It doesn't get any better than this.
We were talking before we got started here. There's nothing like high school football. I love doing high school football, still do it for the station that you and I worked at together, WEOL, and it's special when you get kids out there, especially come playoff time, just playing for the love and the passion of the game. It's unique. It's awesome.
Yeah. I had a chance to do a high school game last night, man. So I totally know what you mean, man. It was a great game. We had a chance to do Genoa, and it was Otsego, a great game.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But Andy, man, we got the voice of the Cavaliers, man. We got to talk some Cavs hoops, man.
Absolutely. Well, it's not just Tim on all the broadcasts, right? I mean, Tim, you have such a great relationship with Jim Jones, Hall of Famer, in terms of what he's done for the Cavaliers and other organizations. And you two just have chemistry like Steve and I have, right? You just feed off each other. You know when the other one wants to say something, you back away, you come back in. It doesn't get any better than that, does it?
No, it doesn't. I love Jim. I love Jim both on air and off air. He's a tremendous guy, number one. He's not just a former NBA basketball player and a former Cavalier, but he really is just a tremendous human being. Jim and I knew each other before I got the Cavs job. Now, we didn't know each other well, but when I was at WEOL, we did a courtside show a couple of times a month down at what was then Quicken Loans Arena and then Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. And Jim was a guest on that show a few times every year. So Jim knew me and I knew him, but not to the extent of working together for 82 games a season during an NBA schedule. So, but Jim welcomed me with open arms, and I think he's one of the best, if not the best, color commentators in the NBA. And I don't say that just because I work with Jim. His knowledge of the game of basketball is unbelievable. You think of him as one of the Cavalier legends and the Miracle of Richfield and all of that, but you can't lose sight of the fact that when he left the Cavaliers, he went to Los Angeles, and he was part of those Laker Showtime teams. In fact, Jim was just out in Hawaii with all the other former Lakers that were celebrating those championships, and he's got a million stories to tell as far as that trip was concerned. But he played with Kareem. He played with Magic. He played with Worthy and Norm Nixon and right on down the line. So he knows about championship level basketball and what it takes to win an NBA title. He has the ring to prove it. And then the other reason that he's such a pleasure to work with, a joy to work with really, is the fact that he's still rooted in Cleveland. It seems like any athlete that played in Cleveland, for whatever reason, they are drawn back. There's something about Cleveland. And Jim, having been a Cavalier, I mentioned the Miracle team and so forth, so he knows the passion of Cavs fans. He knows Cavalier history. So you take that all into account, and when he puts on a headset mic, I just think he's outstanding. And Andy, to your point, call it chemistry, call it, a fondness for one another, whatever it may be. But it really is a joy to work with Jim Jones every night.
Well, I mean, my younger listeners may not know. I don't even know if you knew how good he was, Andy. The boy could hoop, man.
Obviously. I mean, he's got a ring to prove it. So
one of the all-time greats at Marquette. I mean, Marquette University before he went pro, and played for Al McGuire at Marquette, and just had a remarkable collegiate career. So, Steve, to your point, he not only is a great announcer, but he was an incredible basketball talent. You're dead on.
Quick hitters in, man, with the NBA. Andy, let's do this. Let's look at basketball. Man, 5 things that you need to know about this basketball season, Andy.
5 things I need to know. But
there we go. Well, did you need coffee this morning, buddy?
Maybe a little bit. All right.
Okay.
I haven't had breakfast yet, so give me a little bit of a break. All right. So 5 things you need to know. But one of the things that's not on that list that you do need to know about is this happened this week. Donovan Mitchell looks really good in a Cavs jersey. That's all I'm going to say. 31 points. He added 9 assists, led the team in assists that night. 2 rebounds, and I'm telling you right now, if Darius Garland doesn't get poked in the eye, I think they win their opener against Toronto.
That's real cute of you. That's real cute of you. See, while you're watching Cleveland games, I'm watching the rest of the NBA. See, that's why they call me the real sports guy. But see, you left out one little piece of information that the people need to know. He lost the game, Andy. He dropped 31, but they lost. It ain't like he dropped 31 and he hit the game-winning walk-off. They lost. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So let's go to what I'm going to talk about, the 5 things that you really need to know. And let's start with number 5. The East that you're talking about is a beast because I see Toronto, who's better. I see the Hawks, who's a threat. I see the Nets. They got that guy KD. Did you see the Bucks? How about the Celtics? The East is a beast. The New Orleans Pelicans, that's going to be a problem because Zion's back.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big problem. And Andy, did you look at the LA Clippers staff? Did you see? They look like Kentucky out there, man, in the NBA. Are you serious? Are you serious? You know,
go ahead.
And just to kind of run through the other two real quick, Andy, the Warriors are still the Warriors. I don't give a damn what you say. The Warriors are the Warriors. And number one thing that you need to know, this kid, Victor Wembanyama, that's the reason that everybody is freaking tanking this year because this dude is out of this world, Andy.
Yeah, he's like if LeBron and Anthony Davis were one player, right? I mean, he's got it all, Steve. He's a 5-tool player. He's got length. He's got skill. He's got power. He's got speed. He can shoot. He can score. He can play defense. I mean, what can't he do, right? He passes the ball. So, yeah, your Spurs are tanking this year, my friend.
Didn't I just tell you that?
I know. But to your point about the East, the 76ers are already winless.
Yeah, look who they played.
That's my point.
They played the Celtics.
Yes.
And they played the Celtics
and the Bucks. Yes.
Yeah, the top of the league.
Yeah.
The top of the league. I'm
going
to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest.
You better hope.
I don't see Cleveland being one of the top 6 teams in the East.
Right,
I just don't.
Now, I might agree with you on that. However, I think that they have a chance to push Atlanta out of one of those spots. So we'll see.
And I ain't even talking about Atlanta in one of them spots, man. The East is beast.
It's the best conference in the NBA.
Sometimes on it.
Hey, speaking of has to be, there's no more talk of the 72 Dolphins record having to be in jeopardy, right? Because the Washington Commanders made a statement on Monday night and went in there and said, we don't care if Philadelphia is undefeated. We have a good football team. We might actually have a quarterback now. And if our defense can get healthy, we may still have a say in this division. What a wow. But listen, it was an impressive win. All right. I'm not saying Washington's going to take all those steps. But it looked like the way that they played Monday, they have the potential to possibly scare some people. That's all I'm saying.
Didn't somebody call you and say, Lionel Richie and the Commodores are going to win on Monday night? I said, it is Monday night. Okay? And Philadelphia promptly went out and tagged because they went out and they got in Dominican soup because people, they got pushed around like a shopping cart for 40 minutes. The defense forced four turnovers. However, the offense had the ball for 40 minutes, man. Okay? So you have to be doing something on offense to have the ball for 40 minutes. And we saw what could happen against the Eagles. And this is why I was at cause to pause against the Eagles, because this is what can happen in the first round of the NFL playoffs. You can be one and done if you don't know how to swim in deep water. And the Eagles couldn't.
Impressive win by Washington. And the right decision, by the way, by Coach Rivera to stay with Taylor Heineke.
With Lionel Richie. Taylor Heineke.
Listen, a lot of teams would like to have a guy like Taylor Heineke as their quarterback right now. All right, maybe the game of the year, Steve. Buffalo Bills, Minnesota Vikings. I mean, this almost had the same finish that Buffalo and Kansas City had in the AFC Championship last year, right? I mean, Minnesota goes down. They take the lead. Everybody thinks the game's over. You left too much time on the clock. Not so fast. Josh Allen does what Josh Allen seems to like to do in the fourth quarter. Takes them down, ties the game. But then the defense gets an interception to win it. But Steve, this game featured one of, if not the greatest catch that we have ever seen. And because of that, we have a bonus. Did you see that dude this week? You ready for this?
I mean, dude made the catch of the year. Man, if he don't make that catch, there's no way they win this game.
On 4th and 18, Justin Jefferson steals the ball with one hand from the defender who was using two hands and pulls it in. And you know what that means? He gets the sticker. That's what that means. All right, before we move on to the next game, though, give me your thoughts.
But let's go back. Let's go back just for a second. Timeout. Just rewind that. Okay, because see, what I want to go back and look at is how the Minnesota Vikings won the game. It was on the bot snap in the end zone by Josh Allen. And when you go back to that, Josh Allen is usually taking the ball from where? And from where? From the shotgun.
Yeah.
And now you condense the offense. You know, again, things that are not buttoned up. When I had cause for pause in the beginning of the season, I said these things that Brian Daboll had tightened up. They were buttoned up. Would Ken Dorsey have the same effect? And in big situations, we've seen Ken Dorsey come up short. We saw him flip his lid in one game where he just started throwing things. You know, we had a segment, You Mad Bro, where he was throwing stuff. Okay, this is starting to become a habit, Ed. It's starting to become a habit. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
Here's my thing on that, too. On the fumble, take the safety, you win the game. Don't snap the ball.
Damn that, snap the ball. It's the NFL, man. Your job is to snap the ball.
All right.
I totally disagree with that. Snap the damn ball. I mean, come on. What more simpler play can it be to exchange from center to quarterback, man?
I'm just saying the math. I'm just saying
if you snap the damn ball, you ain't giving up a damn touchdown.
Speaking of giving up touchdowns, what the hell was this? Green Bay looked like they might have been able to turn their season around, and then Thursday night happened. So that was the end of that.
Well, here's the thing, man. Green Bay finally had a good game plan. Okay? When you look at the Dallas Cowboys, what do they do best? They get after your quarterback. They make your quarterback have nightmares. Okay? So what do you do with them? You ground them and you pound them. And that's exactly what Green Bay did. They ain't got these guys all day. They kept running the ball downhill. These dudes are lighter than you know what. Hey, man, look here. You get these offensive linemen that's lining up and firing off the ball. You saw the end result in that, man. Look, Dallas, you better buckle up because it's coming at you for the rest of the season. The blueprint is wrong.
They got the Vikings today, then they got the Giants on Thursday. Tough sledding for the Dallas Cowboys.
Between Gloves takes us to 3 championship fights in 3 different countries. And the first one up, the big feature, is the return of Deontay Wilder, the bronze bomber. He returns after a year layoff. Got a big fight this weekend against his former sparring partner, Robert Helenius. Helenius is a big guy. I'm looking for big-time action. I'm looking for a big knockout. That's going to be the nightcap of it all. But earlier in the day, let's go across the pond to where we'll get to see Devin Haney against George Kambosos 2. We saw it a couple of months ago where Kambosos was definitely taken advantage of by the slick boxing of Devin Haney. Devin Haney's looking to do it again. He's going back over to the pond. He's going back over to Melbourne, Australia. He's going to try to do it again. This is one of those fights that I don't think we need to see again. But the big fight of the night, of the day that we're talking about, that everybody's been talking about and been waiting for, is Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall. These two met in the Olympics, and it's going to be interesting. The slick boxing of Clarissa Shields, can she continue to do that against the heavy-handed punching Savannah Marshall? This is going to make for a great fight. It's going to be a great card. Stay tuned. I know it's football, but it's boxing. Between the gloves, 3 fights, 3 countries. Stay tuned. We got much more for you. You've seen the rest. Here's the best. Here's the Keeping It Real Sports House Poll. Top 4 playoff teams? Well, we'll begin with the Buckeyes of Ohio State as they make their way in. With an 11-1 record, the Buckeyes back their way in, but they have the offensive firepower to really be disruptive in a playoff setting. This marks Brian Day's 3rd playoff appearance in 4 years as a Buckeye head man. C.J. Stroud looks to bounce back from a subpar effort against Michigan and lead a talents-balanced Buckeye attack in the Peach Bowl. The Buckeyes get their main man back in Mayan Whip, so they'll be at full accord as they enter the Peach Bowl. But the Buckeyes, they come in at number 4 at 11-1 in our final poll. That brings us to number 3, and the TCU Horned Frogs, and Sonny Dykes has his team primed and ready. Even though they lost their final game to Kansas State on a last-second play, they remain number 3 and are steadfast for a major big-time matchup against the Michigan Wolverines. We're going to find out about the moxie of the TCU Horned Frogs, but they're led by Max Duggan, who is a Heisman finalist. TCU, they come in at 12-1, and they go out to the Citrus Bowl to challenge the Michigan Wolverines. Speaking of number 2, the Michigan Wolverines, they top number 2 in our final poll, and did they come off of a big-time quarterback? Definitely came up with a big time, but the coaching staff, they put together a gem against the Buckeyes, and they have the Wolverines really moving fast. The Wolverines look for a major matchup. Jim Harbaugh rumored to be moving on to Indianapolis. Could this be one and done? Well, we'll find out. But I tell you what, Michigan is looking good as they sit 13-0 and number 2 in our Keeping It Real Sports Top 10 final poll. And that brings us to the number 1 Georgia Bulldogs, who has Stetson Bennett. He's a quarterback, not a Cologne, people. He's also a Heisman finalist. Kirby Smart has his Bulldogs primed and ready for another playoff push as they roll into the Peach Bowl, undefeated, 13-0, trying to defend its championship. So there we go. Our matchup will be number 1, Georgia, number 4, Ohio State in the Peach Bowl, TCU, number 3, Michigan in the Citrus Bowl. There it is, our Keeping It Real Sports Top.
Sometimes, man, we got a good one. Check this out.
No one has ever done that. No one has ever done that in the history of Dota.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious?
Are you serious? Well, this week's Are You Serious is simply called Drop Call. And Pittsburgh Pirate Rodolfo Castro gives a different meaning to drop call. What do you mean? Let me explain. Castro gets into the game and he gets a base hit and he slides into third base. What is that in his pocket? Is that a cell phone? As we look closer, yeah, it's a cell phone. Even he's confused. The ump looks at it and says, yeah, that's your phone, bro. As you see, we got it highlighted. So you ask yourself, why would Rodolfo Castro slide into third base with a cell phone? Well, here's the only thing I can come up with. He didn't want to deal with this drama. Rodolfo Castro. Are you serious?
Oh, just when you think you've seen it all. All right, listen, we're running short on time, but before we go, I've got to sound off on a little something.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Sound it off, Andy.
Sound off.
My sound off this week is on Live Golf. You heard me say it last week. We ran out of time. I wanted to save it for this week. There's a reason for that, okay? 30 seconds was not enough time to say what I want to say, okay? Let's start first and foremost with the real reason that players are leaving the PGA Tour to go and join Live Golf. And there it is, right there. That graphic says it all. The money bags, the dollar signs, that's it. That's the only reason. Because I'm telling you right now, I've seen this firsthand on YouTube. It's not entertaining, okay? First and foremost, I think all the players that went over there don't respect the game of golf because they only want to play 54 holes. Okay, let's start there. Second of all, I said it was about money. Now, 2 weeks ago, you had 11 players that left to take the money, now want to sue the PGA Tour if they can't come back and play because Live Golf doesn't have enough tournaments yet. Guess who's got a problem with that? The players that are still on the PGA Tour. And here's a perfect example. Will Zalatoris. If you're going to try and double dip, that's where a lot of guys have an issue. Billy Horschel also said the same thing. We're not happy about that. And they shouldn't be. You know, the one guy that probably should stay in Live Golf is Phil Mickelson. Here's why. His last 10 PGA Tour events, this is atrocious. 6 missed cuts. He has not finished higher than 30th. Okay? He's the one that needs to go over there and make the money. And oh, by the way, he's not winning in that tournament either. He's done. He needs to hang it up. His golf game doesn't exist anymore. I don't know why they're paying this man $200 million. He can't even win a golf tournament. He can't even help his team. Oh, yeah, did I mention that? Teams and golf? Come on. Really? I was watching one of the events where they were explaining the team idea, and they said it was to spice up the game of golf, okay? I got news for you. People that watch golf, people like myself who play golf, it doesn't need to be spiced up. We like it for what it is, okay? And you know who else does? Davis Love. Look at this. If Live Guy's playing in the U.S. Open, we're not going to play. If they sue and they win, guess what? We're not playing. We won't be there. We're going to strike like baseball. Good for you, Davis Love, and good for the PGA Tour for sticking to their guns because this shouldn't be happening, okay? You want to leave and take more money because you can't make enough because you're not good enough? That's your business. You think you have a right to come back and have a chance to play with the guys that aren't taking the easy way out? You're out of your mind. And guess what? I don't think it's going to last. I saw a quote earlier this week where Sergio Garcia and Greg Norman were texting each other. And guess what Sergio said? Hey, Greg, I'm just checking in because a lot of the younger guys that have already left the PGA Tour are shitting their pants because they might get banned. Yeah, you know who'll never shit his pants? This guy, Tiger Woods. And you know who's never, ever going to leave the PGA Tour? This guy, Tiger Woods. Those numbers say it all. Guess what, folks? Golf, for some, is not about the money. It's about the game. It's about tradition, and it's about major championship, a legacy, and the respect that goes with the etiquette of a sport that was started in Scotland and is played by everyone of every race, of every gender across.
Just when we thought we'd seen the end, the PGA does not disappoint. My sound off is on the hypocrites known as PGA. Let's look at it. The PGA decided to make 10 changes to its policies to include stipends for all members that are non-exempt. All exempt tour members now are guaranteed $500,000. The tour is to include 12 elevated events, and a player impact program pay is increased from 10 to 20 players. Sound familiar? Well, Lee Westwood seems to think that. Lee Westwood says, I laugh at what the PGA Tour's players have come up with. It's just a copy of what Live Golf is doing. There are a lot of hypocrites out there. Who are the hypocrites that he's talking about? Well, let's look at it. Let's start with Jay Monahan, the PGA commissioner, who stood on his soapbox and just totally destroyed the structure of Live Golf and what Live Golf was all about. And then he brings in Roy and Tiger, and I am not angry at Roy and Tiger for the stand that they've taken with the PGA, because monetarily they stand to benefit, and I understand that. But what I don't understand is how you, Tiger Woods, and you, Rory McIlroy, can stand on your soapbox and you can talk about your fellow players who took a chance to make capitalism just like you did, make the money just like you did, and you want to talk about them and single them out? That's the problem that I got with you. That's very hypocritical. See, that's ASA 9, ASA 10, ASA 11. You get what I'm saying with that? Okay, you know who else believes, understands, and agrees totally with my point or what I thought? Be this guy. America's caddy, Michael Collins. I think he knows a little bit about golf. And at the end of the day, it brings me back to the one guy who was vilified over this whole thing in the beginning. And now, looks like he's right. I'm talking about Phil Mickelson. That's my sound off. Ken Dorsey, did you see dudes get mad when they didn't?
I saw it.
Yeah. See, we've had loaded shows, and so we kind of missed this. But here's a segment we call this one, You Mad, Bro? Becky. Why you mad, bro? All right, man, this one here, man, it kind of tells the whole story itself. The last seconds of the game, Buffalo don't get to play in it, time runs out on them, and this is what their offensive coordinator does.
Was that because it reminded him of what he did on the field when he was playing?
It's you, bro. Somebody need to tell him. Why you mad, bro?
It's just a game, man. I mean, I know it's his career and I know it's their livelihood, but really, it's just a game. Yeah. It's one game. You're gonna win the division. You're gonna go to the AFC Championship. What are you worried about?
Well, look, another one in. Andy, it's been fun, but we got to run.
Till next time, we wish you love
and peace. Deuces.